Hello, I'm going to do the daily energy reading for Sunday, January 15th, and this will be a general reading with no clarification. If this resonates you, take what does resonate. If it does not, leave what does not, as that may be meant for someone else. All right, so what you may possibly be struggling with, concerned with for today. We have the Knight of Swords, we have the Four of Swords, and we have the Moon. What it is you need to look at is the Ace of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Future energies from working through the situation. We have the Emperor, we have the Ace of Cups, and we have the King of Wands. Look at that. That's very powerful there, right? We have the Emperor, which is very strong energy, very confident. We have the Ace of Cups, those feelings and emotions, right? And then we have the King of Wands, another powerful card. All right, so what you may be struggling with today is that indecision and going back and forth with something. The Knight of Swords can be that scattered energy, and it's trying to figure out a solution or a direction or which way to go. I feel that part of you wants to give up, part of you doesn't want to deal with it, and there's something that you don't want to see. There's something that you don't want to see, there's something that you don't want to deal with. I feel like there's kind of one moment you're like, okay, I'll deal with it and I'll work through it. And then the next minute you're like, I want to give up and I don't want to deal with that. We all have those situations. We all have those days. We're like, I really don't want to deal with this. I don't want to face with it. I just want to hide and I just want to crawl into a hole, right? I just want to go into my cave and be my turtle and go in my shell. What you need to look at is the Ace of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Three of Cups. I feel like finding the solution brings you that happiness, right? It's like, okay, it's like when you have that Band-Aid and you want to rip it off. Do you rip it off quickly or do you rip it off slowly? Or, you know, sometimes it's like when I was a kid, I was very quiet, I was very shy, and I hated getting up in front of the class. And we used to have to do those book reports or those, those dioramas, or whatever that was. And so we would have to do a report in front of the class, and I dreaded that. So what I used to do is I used to try and be the last person, right? I'm like, oh, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me, because I didn't want to do it. And I figured if I just kept putting it off, maybe it wouldn't happen. But what it ended up doing is that I had to watch everybody else, and sometimes it took 2 or 3 days in order to get through the whole class, and so I had 2 or 3 days of stress and anxiety because I was like, oh, am I going to be next, or I still have to go. But if I was smart, then I would have said, pick me first, so I could have done it, I could have gotten it over with, and then I could have just sat back and enjoyed and seen all of the rest of the kids without having to have that. But at that time, I was like, well, no, I want to avoid it as much as I can. And I feel like that's what you're going through today, is I want to avoid it as much as I can, without realizing that if you find the solution or you start to work on it and you start to figure it out, that it's really going to bring you this happiness, right? That it's going to release that tension and the stress of it, because I feel like it's just going to keep building and building and building until you deal with it. So you have to figure out what is the best solution for you. What is it, this thing that you're trying to avoid or not deal with it, and you're having this scattered energy, is to sit down and figure out what is the best solution for you. How does it work for you, right? That you kind of have to stand up for yourself and say, okay, I'm not going to keep putting myself into this anxiety and this stress and this worry about this situation, that I have to stand up and I have to say, you know what, I just have to face this situation. By doing that, you come into your own power and your own strength, and you're looking out for yourself, right? That you're bringing yourself this Ace of Cups, you're bringing yourself this Six of Wands, this victory over your emotions and your feelings, because you're not letting them rule you. You're taking control of a situation and you're handling it and you're dealing with it. That you're like, I'm not going to let this stress me anymore. I'm not going to let this affect me anymore. I'm going to handle this situation today. I'm going to take control of it. And that gives you that power, and then you start to look at other things. Okay, these other things that are weak spots in my life, I can start attacking those. I can start dealing with those. I can start looking with those. Because you're realizing that these things are giving you this confusion and this anxiety. All right, so let's pick a wisdom oracle for today. I feel like this one here. We have observer. I almost feel like it's observing what this energy is doing to yourself, right? That you have to see that wanting to be the last one to do your report and stand in front of the class really wasn't the best choice, right? Because you're having to have that stress and anxiety for all of those days. But seeing that when you're the first, you do it and you get it over with, that you can relax, and it brings you a calmness. All right, and then let's grab an energy oracle card. Victory. Yes, that is victory, and that's this card too. We have the same symbol there. Victory. What is your victory? This is your victory because you were an observer and you were seeing how you used to handle things in the past, right? In the past, you used to want to be the last person. But now you want to be the first thing. You want to face it head on instead of letting it control you. Instead of letting it getting out of control, that you face it head on and you're like, yeah, this is a challenge, but if I'm facing it, if I'm dealing with it, if I'm working on it, then it's not going to weaken me. That this is really a victory, and it strengthens you facing it head on. All right, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.